Well, let's start with some team news. Have you any positivity for the likes of Jonson Clarke-Harris, Josh Ginnelly going into Tuesday's game?
Josh Ginnelly, unfortunately, is a bit of a longer term one. He's gone back to Preston for now, so we're probably looking at a few weeks for that one, minimum. Jonson Clarke-Harris should train this morning, and it'll just be assessing where he is, how he feels, and then deciding what he can and can't do tomorrow.
I guess he's an important player for the team. You don't want to rush him back if he's not fit, but you must be keen to get him back on the pitch as soon as possible.
Of course, he's a massive player for us. We're desperate to have him in the team, but at the same time, we can't put him in with the risk of him breaking down and losing him potentially for the rest of the season. So we need to, be a conversation between myself, Jono, and the medical staff this morning, see how he feels, and then make a decision from that.
It was a pleasant surprise to see Josh Hare start on Saturday. How's he in his recovery?
He's done great. I think, obviously Josh made a mistake for the goal, but he responded well, and overall I thought he had a good return considering the length of time he's been out. So the only way to get him fitter is to give him playing time and to build him up. So we'll assess how Josh is this morning. I imagine he'll be a bit sore this morning after the first game back. So whether he can be involved tomorrow, we will look at. And again, that will be a decision that we make based on how he feels and how he presents today.
Any manager who loses a game, we might assume there'll be changes. Might there be changes after Saturday's game against Southend?
Yeah, possibly. We're limited a little bit. Unfortunately, Tariq Holmes-Dennis, his knee is sore again. He's going to have an injection in that today, so he'll be ruled out tomorrow. We've had players like Tariq on the bench that aren't quite up to speed because of the injury, but that's where we are as a squad at the moment. So, Gavin Riley's got a knee injury that, he's in a brace for 4 or 5 weeks. Mark Little's had the same recurrence of his calf. So, a lot of these are injuries they're in place and they keep reoccurring, and so we're fairly limited in terms of what we can and can't change. But the important thing is that we improve.
But for injuries then, or stroke niggles, would Tariq and Gavin both be in your plans at the moment?
Yeah, I think they both would. They're both good players, and when I first came in, they're both chomping at the bit to get in the team. So, Gav's been unfortunate with the injury that he's picked up, and Tariq's been an ongoing issue with his knee that, when we've trained on the AstroTurf a lot because of the weather, he can't train, and then when we've trained on the grass, and unfortunately, it's after last week, it's aggravated his knee a little bit. So. But that's where we are. We've got young players that are coming up behind as well. So we've just got to keep fighting on that front and pick a team that we think is right.
We haven't seen Josh Barrett on the pitch since the game at Sunderland. What's the situation with him?
We've got some criteria here in terms of requirements in order to be eligible to play, and Josh isn't quite at those standards at the moment. He's working hard. He's trying to get to them. And again, we're not going to take a shortcut. We're going to make sure that these things are adhered to going forward. There's certain requirements that have to be in place in order to be eligible in terms of physical condition and fitness levels. And Josh is now working hard towards that. And as soon as he meets those requirements, he'll be back in the fold.
Because he is a young man, isn't he? Very much with the long-term future in the game. But does it just show that you've got to be at it on and off the pitch if you're to play for your team?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I keep saying, we're trying to put things in place here that help this club going forwards, and whether that's damaging my chances a little bit short term at times is I need to put the bigger picture. Players need to understand that these are the requirements to be eligible to play, and that's the same for any player. And that's going to be in place moving forwards. You've got to be, as a professional player, you've got to be in the right physical condition to be able to play. And as I say, that's the same for everyone. This isn't picking on certain players. This is across the board. And as I just said, Josh is responding really well. He's desperate to get back, desperate to be involved. He's got wonderful talent, but I need him to be in a physical condition where those talents can shine.
Just generally, you've said quite understandably, players are playing for their futures. That's the same at any football club, especially when a new manager comes in. Have any players been told that they don't have a future at the football club, or are they still playing for contracts? Are they still part of your plans?
Everyone's part of the group at the moment, and they're all, we're all playing for our futures. Results haven't been good enough. I shoulder the blame for that. As I said, it's my responsibility, and that rests solely with me. But I'm constantly assessing who's coming with me. Who is part of this future, who is doing the right things. And even after the Saturday, when I look around the dressing room and I'm speaking to them, which ones can look me in the eye? Which ones can take on what I'm saying, and which ones aren't. And I need to make decisions on the right characters to take this football club forward. Whether that's someone that's been here since January or whether that's someone that's been here for 10 years. if they're not the right people and they're not the right type moving forwards, then I will look to make changes, because we want to improve, we want to progress, and we want to develop this football club. So there may be some hard decisions to make, but I'm willing to make them.
Because I guess you're learning quite quick that being a manager is quite cutthroat, isn't it? And you have to make tough decisions.
Yeah, very much so. You know, as I said, the results haven't been good enough. There's no shying away from that. I completely understand all the frustrations of the support. I understand the criticism coming my way. I can't work any harder than I am. At the end of every day, I can look myself in the mirror knowing I've fully prepared for every game. I've done everything possible. And like I say, I'm judging who here is doing the same. I think to be judged as a manager, great advice I was given by a really experienced manager is you're judged on what condition the club is when you leave, when you go out the door. And for me, if I left this football club tomorrow, the infrastructures and things that we're putting in place and now putting this club in a stronger position moving forward. In a year's time, in 18 months' time, I want to be able to say that even more so. So I know results are disappointing, but at the same time, I need to put things in place that are going to help this club grow and going to give it foundations. Because at the moment, I said those foundations aren't there. And we need to put those in place, which we're doing. We need to take the club forwards off the pitch, which we're in the process of doing. But in the short term, we need to win football games, and that starts tomorrow night against Sunderland.
Yeah, because they say it's important to end the season well, so you've got momentum going into next campaign. How important is it that you do pick up results? So, no matter what happens this season, it's not a season of struggle next year.
Yeah, I mean, we want to win. I'm desperate to win. We want to win every game. It's been very frustrating, this run of results. And we need to put that right quickly. I think the focus at the moment is just next game. It's Tuesday night, Sunderland at home. That's the focus. Like I say, we're putting these foundations in place for the future of the club, but it's about now. It's about trying to get results and get performances on the pitch, and that's from everyone at the club. We've all got to push forward and contribute to that. Everyone has tough times. There's no hiding place. I'm not making excuses here. I'm not running away from this. As I said, the blame is solely on me, but we need to put it right.
Do you look at the league table at all? I mean, it was said a couple of weeks ago, Rovers aren't going to go up this season, they're not going to go down, but Tranmere 13 points. Do you need maybe a win just to give yourself a bit of breathing space and you can relax a bit more?
We want wins. I'm not looking down the table and being concerned with that, but we want to win and start climbing back up the table. As I said after the game Saturday, we've had a number of games where we should have won and we should have picked up points. We've had games where we should have drawn when we've lost, but we've also had the last two where we didn't deserve anything, and that's been a concern, and we need to put that right very quickly. But we need, I'm not making excuses for the group, but they've had a manager that's left when they're in a good position. They've then had me coming in and having to take compassionate leave, and they've had some blows in games, and we've had some bad fortune. But as I said, everyone goes through tough times. There's people in this world going through a lot tougher times than we are. So we need to have a bit of perspective with that. We need to roll our sleeves up and come out fighting, especially at home in front of that support tomorrow night. You couldn't ask for a better game than Sunderland at home. Huge football club, massive following that will come down for them tomorrow night. It's under lights on a Tuesday night at the Mem. There's no better game. So we need to be right up for the game. We need to show what we're all about, and we need to come out fighting tomorrow night.
I think the day you joined the club, Jeff asked you about your backroom staff, and you say we'd see. Is that something you're still considering adding to your backroom staff? For example, you had Steve Coppell helping out earlier in the year.
Yeah, very much. I mean, Steve is good enough to watch the games each week, and I speak to him probably 4 or 5 times a week. He's a great mentor. He's a great guy, very experienced football man. He'll be coming to the game tomorrow night, which will give us a different set of eyes from the stand. But I would have liked to have brought someone in January when I came in, but that wasn't possible at the time. So it's now assessing that at the end of the season. And as I say, I'm constantly assessing everything here. Not just the players, but the staff. Who will take this club forward? Who's got the desire to do well? Who's going to buy into what I'm trying to do? So we need to get some results. We need to finish the season strong. And then we need to make those adjustments in the summer, and we need to be in a much stronger position when we come into pre-season. But we need to get to pre-season. I'm not stupid. Results need to improve.
Sunderland haven't won since they beat you 2 or 3 weeks ago. What are you expecting from them?
They're a good side. They're a very good side. Very strong squad, strength in depth. I thought we did really well for an hour up there defensively in terms of organisation, our structure, work ethic was very, very good on that day. and I really felt confident going into that last half an hour that we could get something from this game, 1 if not 3 points. So I think we'd frustrated them, and I think teams have done that since as well. So they're a good team, as I said, great squad, some really talented players in there. But we need to build on what we did in the away game. We know we can frustrate what they do. We know we've got opportunities to hurt them in certain areas. But it's words. We need actions now. We need to put it into plan, and we need to. I need to trust the players to deliver that tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.